afternoon, everyone. My name is Frances Smith-Dean, and I'm the Executive Director of the Zan Wesley Holmes Community Outreach Center. I want to welcome you today to our first Lunch and Learn series. It allows you to build your network over drinks that we provide and your lunch so that you can begin the process of building and scaling your small business. We have two fantastic facilitators for today's program. That's our operations manager, Jasmine.Anderson, and Phong, Nguyen, who's our intern for the Zan Wesley Holmes Community Outreach Center. I want to thank you for spending time with us today. As a result of attending these classes, we have a treat for you. You will be able to go through our 12 class coaching sessions, increments of success. So this session, the next session, as well as creating sustainable models for your business. If you go through those two classes, you will be eligible to participate in our increments of success model. So I want to thank you. I want to welcome everybody. I want to welcome those people who are on Facebook, because we did this for you to bring something to the community so that you can scale up your for-profit and nonprofit models. Thank you and welcome.
All right, and I'll stay seated. I think y'all can see me. So just to introduce myself again, my name is Jasmine.Anderson. I'm a native of Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm now here in Dallas working with the Zan Wesley Holmes Community Outreach Center as the operations manager. And also, to speak briefly, because I can't remember if I heard Frances make mention of how important and instrumental increments of success is, just so you can understand really what it's worth. It's an opportunity for you to learn how to grow and build your assets, and that can be inside of your company or business, as well as in your individual finances as well. And that's extremely important, especially I think in the Black community, as well as in all communities. But because we're in some instances behind the curve, it allows us to get ahead and allow us to learn and to level up. So, outside of that, today we're going to be speaking about marketing basics and with an emphasis on social media, which is extremely important in today's age and time. And we're going to be using the Zan Wesley Holmes Community Outreach Center website, as well as our different social media campaigns, as well as my own personal brand, Glamour Architect, which is a beauty brand, but it has an emphasis on hair extensions currently, and we'll be using that for our demonstration purposes today. And if you have any questions at any point in time during our demonstration, we just ask that you raise your hands. This is a very informal setting. We want everyone to feel like friends and family. We use this space because there are facilities in the back, so if you have to use the restroom or a call comes, you're more than welcome to step out, use the restroom. There's drinks in the back that we've provided. If you brought a lunch, feel free to eat as you join us. If you brought chips, try to chew softly if you don't mind. That way people on Facebook Live can still hear us today. And again, we just want to thank you for joining us, being here with us. We hope we're able to provide you with some great instrumental information. If you have not if you did not register online, please let the lady in the back know. That way she can get you a data sheet. Again, that's if you did not register online. Then we would like for you to complete a data sheet for us, please. And at the end of our session today, we will have you complete a survey on something similar to an evaluation, just to determine that we have met your expectations and what you all would like to see from us in the future. And I feel like it's something that I'm missing. If it comes to me, I'll let you all know. But now I'm going to pass it on to Phong.
Great, hi. As Frances and Jasmine have said, I'm Phong Nguyen. I'm the marketing intern here at the Zan Wesley Holmes Junior Community Outreach Center for the summer. And yeah, I'll be approaching this from a marketing and social media standpoint in more of an abstract way, but we'll also be using the Zan Wesley Homes Community Outreach Center website and social media, in addition to Glamour Architect, which is Jasmine's business. And I think it's very important that we're doing that because we can attack this issue from both sides of a product and also a service. Because I think a lot of times with social media for businesses, we think of how can we market our product, because it's very easy to take a picture of something that you have, right? But another way is to focus on how you offer a service and how can you market that on social media as well. So this should be applicable to both nonprofit and for-profits. And yeah, once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. Great, so we'll start off with the very basic tenets of marketing. So there are 4 basic tenets of marketing, and they're known commonly as the 4 P's of marketing. The one that people think about most when they think of marketing is promotion, because that's one, I don't know, everyone thinks about. It's the advertisement one. How do you spread relevant product information and differentiate your product and service? So this is very important. You can go through social media, you can go through email strategies and advertisements, but this isn't the only aspect of marketing. And often all the other 3 aspects are very overlooked. But just to quickly go through promotion, because we'll talk about this in more depth later on, it's ways to spread relevant product information. You can do this through advertisements, through your social media platforms, which is what we'll talk about more specifically, email strategies, search engine optimization, so how high do you rank whenever people search for your name in Google, and just public relations, word of mouth. How do you get your name out there, very simply. Another one is very important is product. So this one seems pretty obvious, but it's very important to be very clear and understand very explicitly what you're offering. So product is a tangible good or an intangible service that fulfills a need or want of customers. So it's important to know what you're selling, and what you're offering, and you need to know what makes you unique in your industry and in your market. So for the Zan Wesley Homes Junior Community Outreach Center, if you look at our mission statement, it explains the product very concisely. It's right here. We're a nonprofit organization that creates self-sustaining pathways out of poverty for young people and families in Dallas through education and job placement. So what's great about this mission statement, besides it's just one sentence, is that it explains our product. So one, what makes it unique is that it's self-sustaining, right? These aren't just handouts that we're giving out. We're not just giving people random jobs. We're trying to build up their careers and to help people scale up their businesses when they come here. So it's self-sustaining. We want you guys to take what you learn and then to scale it up and to make it your own, grow your own industry. And what is the actual service that we're offering? Education, job training, job placement. So in this one sentence, you can understand very clearly what we're offering and how we're offering it and why it's unique. Now, if we go to Glamour Architect, which is Jasmine's business, I'll let her speak about what her product is.
All right, and to speak briefly on that, it's a beauty brand that encompasses everything beauty. However, there's an emphasis on hair extensions. And so that's a very, tangible product, obviously. But I wanted to make sure that I stayed broad enough that way I would be able to bring in different features and different products into that brand. And it won't just be hair extensions. And again, that's something that I'm sure most of you all have done, but make sure you have something narrow enough where people know that exactly what you're selling, but you also want to be broad enough to the point where you're able to introduce new products inside of your line or services if it is a nonprofit as well.
Exactly. So that's the main idea with product. And the main idea with these 4 basic tenets, or the 4 basic P's of marketing, is that you consider all 4 aspects, and you don't just focus on one without thinking about the others. So if you have a general idea or a specific idea of what your product is, that's great. Promotion, we've already talked about. How are you going to reach your audience? The next one would be price. So price determinations impact your profit margins, your supply, demand, and your marketing strategy. So one very obvious thing you need to do is consider what to price yourself. And how do you do that? You need to look at your competition. So for nonprofits, it's a little bit more difficult just because for us at the Zan Wesley Homes Community Outreach Center, we don't charge for our services. They're free services that we offer to the community. But how we deal with price is, how do we sustain that, right? So most of our, we sustain that through donations, funding with partnering with other groups. So right now we have scaling in the call center. So different partners will come in and use the call center, and we'll use some of those profits to sustain our own services. But more specifically, you can see this in the for-profit sphere very easily. So Jasmine, how do you determine your prices?
And just to kind of, to piggyback on what Phong was saying, the first thing you do is when you want to look at who your competitors are, see how much they're pricing their products for. And you'll look at people that are similar in size to your company, that are offering similar products, have similar target demographics. Then from there, you want to also, of course, take into consideration how much is the physical product itself for you to purchase. So let's say it costs me $15 to purchase a bundle of hair. Well, then from there, I have to determine what would be my profit margin. And inside of that, you have to also include things like advertising, so flyers, boosting your posts, which we'll speak about later, and anything else that will be considered an expense of the company. And then from there, you're able to determine, okay, so this is how much I'll bring home. I'll bring home actual $10. So if it costs me $15, if I charge people $30, and let's say all of those other miscellaneous expenses are included in there, I'll bring home actual $10 per bundle of hair. And that's still going to put me and price me competitively with my competitors.
Right, and then after that, the final P is place, and I think this is the one that we're going to pivot the most to our main discussion, which is social media. So place is the ideal location to convert potential clients into actual clients. In the past, this was mainly through word of mouth. You have a brick and mortar store, people come in, they look at your products, and then they buy it, right? But now we're moving more towards an online marketing environment where it's very important to have an online social media presence, because many people aren't just walking around looking for stores to go into. They're Googling these things. They're looking for products online, and they're looking on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So it's very important that we have and establish a good and strong and effective social media platform. Even though word of mouth is still the best way to gain new customers, it's not the best way to get a wide breadth of customers. So with that, we'll pivot into our next section, which is how to actively and effectively use social media. So first, before we go into the specifics of each platform, we'll look more basically and generally at what the benefits specifically of a social media presence is. So the first thing is, to establish a social media presence, it's absolutely free. Just to start off and to get a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything like that is completely free, no charge to you. So there's no real reason that you shouldn't be jumping on this. And then the next characteristic that you can get a benefit is visibility. So social media increases your inbound traffic. That's obvious, I think. But people who are unfamiliar with your brand, this is how they're gonna find it. In the past, all you do is the only way you could get your name out there is like by posting flyers or by going out and talking to people, right? Which is still very effective, but you can't obviously do that to the same scale as if you were on social media. So different social media platforms have different amounts of users. Facebook is the largest with billions of users across the world. So visibility is really important. You can increase your inbound traffic. And every time you increase your traffic, you're increasing the chance that your potential clients become actual clients. This also, what's important about social media is that it increases pathways that lead back to your home website. And your home website, we'll speak about this more in depth in a second, but that's the most important platform that you need because it's where you have the most freedom to build what you are, what you're offering, and how much you're pricing it. This is where you have the chance to explain yourself the best to your customers. So every single time you create a social media platform, it should link back to your main website. So the next thing after visibility is client conversion, which we've already mentioned. So every interaction with the client increases the likelihood of a potential client becoming an actual client. So everyone's heard of the classic marketing rule of 7, which is you have to see things 7 times before you actually do anything about it, which is why you see advertisements all over the place for the same thing over and over again. So just having a social media presence that you can reach out often to your user base is really important to increase your visibility like that. Social media also allows you to become more personable and accessible to potential clients because no one likes to actually just do business with a faceless entity, right? People like doing business with people who they can talk to, who they can trust, and who understand them. So social media is a really good way to show that you're personable. You're not just some random business that's just trying to take your money and give out products, right? You're someone who cares about their clients and deserves business that way.
And I'll just interject some there. It's important to create that relationship with your clients and customers on social media because there is so much fraud going on that people are reluctant in buying things online, especially if you only offer, let's say, some type of e-commerce service. So in creating that being genuine and creating that personal relationship on your social media platform, it allows people the opportunity to, one, know that you're real, so their money is actually going to a real person, but then it also creates trust and it creates a relationship, which is extremely important if you are a new company that doesn't have their recognizable brand.
Exactly, and off of that was a great pivot to the next and final benefit of social media, is increasing your branding. Because social media can strengthen your brand awareness, your brand authority, like she said, your credibility, and your brand loyalty. Customers will buy often from you, and returning customers will return to you if they trust your brand and they know it, right? If clients want to compliment or brag your products or services, where do they go? They go to social media. They go to Facebook, they go to Instagram, they go to Twitter. They don't just send an email to all their friends, right? They go online and then they say, this was a great product or this wasn't a great product. So social media is really good because you can answer that. You can share the times that people really enjoyed your services or your products so your other followers can see it. Or you can also address issues with customer service if things didn't turn out well. Because that's a lot of the ways that you increase this credibility with your customer and user base. So those are the four main benefits of creating a social media platform. So it's free, it increases your visibility, it increases your chances to convert clients from potential to actual, and it increases your brand authority, loyalty, and awareness. So now we'll jump into the more nitty-gritty of each of the social media platforms, what are their benefits, and how to get on them. So the first one, like I said, that's the most important one, is your home base, it's your website. This is where you have the most freedom to tell people about who you are and what you do, and all your other social media platforms like before should take you back here. So if you think about it, your website, people don't really Google your website name too much, right? The way that people discover you is through social media, right? They see their friends share a post and it has your name in it, they click on the social media, and then they see your Facebook, right? But from there, you want them to come back to your web page, right? So your social media should be the net that's out there, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube, everything like that, and then all of those should somehow point back to your web page, your website, because that's where you have the most freedom. So if you look right here, this is the Zan Wesley Homes Community Outreach Center. All of our social media platforms point back here, and you can see you have on the front page you have our mission statement. You have a bunch of photos about who we are, what we're doing. You have social media buttons to our Facebook, and basically we've controlled and we built this entire thing. So we're presenting exactly what we want our customers and our potential clients to see. So Jasmine, you want to talk about your website further?
Yes, so to speak briefly on mine, I use, and I don't know if you made mention of those yet,
Right.
but
Go ahead.
but I'll go ahead and speak on it. But I use the domain for Big Cartel. And the reason I use Big Cartel was, one, it had the easiest template if you're trying to, let's say, sell a product. So in choosing your domain or who you decide to go with, and he'll speak on like Zoho, WordPress, Squarespace, in choosing that, you want to think about what it is that you're offering and what services you are providing. And then also in that, you want to make sure that you typically want to make sure that you choose a website name that's going to be easy to remember or something easy for people or customers or clients to put in. However, if you can notice, mine is extremely long. One reason being so is feasibility, because in order to create that domain or to get rid of the domain name, like Big Cartel, you have to pay for that feature. And with me being a grassroots company, that's something that wasn't very important to me or top priority to me, being so because all of my customers, or predominantly most of my customers, come from social media. And with them coming from social media, I have links inside of my bio, as well as I put links on the actual inside of my, what do you call it that's underneath the pictures?
Captions.
Captions, thank you. I put the links inside of my actual captions. That way my customers can just click that link easily, so it doesn't matter how long the actual website name is. They can click that link and easily get direct access to my page. That way they're able to purchase and buy. So once the company becomes more sustainable and grows, then I can go ahead, and I feel like it's feasible, then I can eliminate Big Cartel. But at this point, it wasn't a top priority where my funds needed to be, my funds needed to go.
Right, and I think that's a great point to make, that all of these things that we're telling you are just tools. And the way that these tools will be useful for you is if you use them in a way that's applicable for your specific business. So for example, Jasmine's main clientele come from her social media, from her Facebook and her Instagram. So most of them aren't just Googling her name on Google, right? So she can afford to do this trade-off where she doesn't spend extra money to shorten her URL name because people don't reach her that way. But with the Zan Wesley Holmes Junior Community Outreach Center, most of our clientele don't come to us through social media. So it's very important for us to be able to be Googled very easily. So if you look at our URL, it's just our abbreviation. It's short and sweet, and if you know about us, you can search it very easily. So you want to make a short URL if you can, but you always have to do this trade-off and feasibility issue. Now the next thing that you want to do is to increase your SEO, which is your search engine optimization. Basically, it's how high do you rank whenever people Google your name or something in your industry. The higher you are, the higher you will be on the list. So for example, if I just Google Apple, oh, not that one. If I just Google Apple, the first thing that comes up is Apple, the company, not a fruit, right? Because their SEO is really, really strong and their brand is very well known. So that's something that you want to do, and how do you do that? I wish I could be a little bit more explicit, but it's kind of fluffy. So the first step that you can do, which will definitely help, is to add your name to Google's index. And the way you do that is you just go to Google, very easily say, get my website on Google. Something like that, just search that. The first website will be your support link, right? Add your URL, it's very basic stuff. And then right here, you just add your URL and submit the request. Now this puts you in the index, but doesn't necessarily rank you very high or anything. But this, at least you're on the playing field. And from there, how do you increase your visibility? This is where it gets kind of fluffy. What you want to do is post relevant content about your industry regularly and to use keyword phrases. So for the Zan Wesley Holmes Community Outreach Center, it would be community, service, South Dallas, Zan Holmes, things like that. And for
Glamour Architect, it'll be things like hair, extensions, bundles, weave, different things like that. So anything particular to your company or things that you know that you would even Google if you were looking for that particular product or service.
Exactly. So right now, if you just Google Zan Holmes, because he's a common and well-known name in the community, our website is, where is it? Okay, it's right here. It's the fifth one down, even though we didn't Google the name explicitly. So under this specific keyword, our SEO is pretty good because it's in our name. So if we had a higher SEO, it would be even higher. So Wikipedia has a very good search engine optimization, which is why it's at the top. So that's just something to keep in mind, because a lot of times your clientele won't come from social media specifically. They'll just search you. So it's good to at least have a foot in that zone.
Oh, and then briefly just to add, another great way, especially if you have a product or even a social service, create a blog. A blog allows you an opportunity to get those keywords in there often. But Google is very smart, so you can't just go and say extensions, because it'll automatically disqualify you. So it has to be organic and it has to seem authentic. So blogs are a great way to get those keywords out there, and so that way when people do search your name or search extensions, they'll come to your blog first, and you should make sure that blog, like he said, everything needs to link back to that website. So make sure you include inside of that blog something going back to your website, or even make it where your blog is actually a part of your physical website.
Right, and just a quick note on that. We were mentioning different website platforms that make it easier to build your website, like Squarespace, Zoho, WordPress, and Big Cartel. So you need to decide what's best for your business, which platform is best, because each one has its own strengths. Squarespace is pretty general, so this is where most people will build their websites. Big Cartel, like Jasmine said, is really good if you're trying to sell things online with e-commerce, because their platform is really good for that. WordPress specifically is really good for blogs, for texting and things like that. So that's a really important thing that you want to discuss too and think about. Which platform will you build your website on? And then finally, the last thing with your website is we were talking about bringing all your social media back to your website, but you also want your website to lead to your social media, right? Because your social media is often the place where you're most interactive with your customers, and you want people to be able to see that. So there are two types of social media buttons that you can add to your website. The first one is like this one, Facebook, which is on your website. If you click on it, it'll lead you to the Facebook webpage, which is right here, Facebook/ZWHJCOC, which is our abbreviation. So it'll take you directly there. So that's great. The other website social media button that you can have is on Jasmine's, she uses this, is a posting social media website. So Jasmine doesn't actually have a Twitter account for her business, but she has a Twitter button. So if you click on this, it'll make it easy for your followers to immediately tweet or post about your product, and it has a link to your website. So they don't even really have to think about it. If they like this product, they click this button, hit post, and then all of their social media friends will see it immediately. And that makes it very convenient, very easy, and it's a direct link back to your website as well. You can do that with, let's see, you can do that with Twitter, you can do that with Facebook, you can do that with all the social media accounts. So right now, I just clicked on it, and I can easily just post this to Facebook, and all of my friends would see this post. So that's how you tie your social media to your website, and that's what's important about your website. So next, we'll talk about the big whale, the social media whale, which is Facebook. Facebook is the largest online user base right now, and probably will be for a long time. So you should definitely jump on this because it's free to start, and it's a huge user base, huge audience. There are two basic ways you can use the Facebook for your business. The first one is Facebook pages, and the second one is Facebook ads or boosting promotions, okay? So Facebook page, let's see, let's go to Jasmine's. Facebook page, okay, is free to build, and this is where you can easily update your followers and connect with clients. So just some quick logistics. The first thing you see, so since this is my account, so I can't, this isn't an administration's view. This is as if I'm a new customer who just clicked on her Facebook page. First thing you see is her profile picture, right here, which has her logo, increases your brand awareness. A cover photo, which is interesting and speaks about your mission and your products. So right here, her cover photo very clearly tells you what prices, what bundles she can get if you look at it. And then finally, you have, these are the three sections that you really want to hit. A profile picture, cover photo, and then your about section, which is where you can state your mission statement, put your contact information, put your website, and then basically talk about who you are and what you do. Do you have anything else you want to add to this? Great. And then if you look at our Facebook page, you see the same thing. So here you see our logo, right here, and instead of having a product, since we don't offer a product specifically, we tied ours to Reverend Zan Holmes because he's a big part of our mission statement and our background. And a lot of people will know us through him. And in our about section, you see we have our location, we have what kind of business we are, and our mission statement. So these are the things that people will look at as soon as they click on your profile for the first time. Just random customers who want to find out more about you. So it's very important to curate this part very specifically and detailed. Great, so next, what do you post? What should you post on Facebook to keep an engaged audience? Because that's the most important part with your social media. You want to interact and engage with your audience often and to update them on what you're doing. So you should link articles that are related to your company and your industry. So if something big happens in the service area of South Dallas, we should be one of the first ones to mention that on our social media, and especially on Facebook. Link to your other social media posts. Every single time we post on Instagram, every single time we post on YouTube, anything like that, it goes immediately to our Facebook as well. So everything you post should be on everything. So people can see it on all your different social medias. That increases your net, and that increases your, okay. Great, that increases your net, that increases the draw for people to come back. You want to share coupon codes, your own promotional programs, your giveaways, basically things that interact with the customers and brings them in to talk to you. Your new product announcements or updates. Ask open-ended questions so your followers have a chance to communicate with you freely and about how they feel and openly. The main thing, and this applies to all your social media platforms and posts, you should post regularly, consistently, and about relevant topics. So don't just post about random things, but try to get in on the big trending topics that have something to do with your industry. But don't make any redundant posts or post too frequently, because we've all seen how many times advertisements are really annoying, and we see like if someone posts too often, we'll just unfollow them or something like that. So you want to straddle this line very well where you're keeping people engaged, but you don't want to annoy people and push them away. So right here, what do we post about on our Facebook page? We post about about future upcoming events. We post about our partners, and we post about photos from events that have already happened. And why is this important? It's because we don't offer a specific product, right? So how do we show off what we do? We talk about our partners, we talk about events that we're giving. So just this morning, we posted this photo of one of our partners winning an award. And then last week we posted about members of the St. Luke Community United Methodist Church coming to visit to find out more about this event. So even if you live in a different state and you've heard about us, you know what we do and you have a sense of what we're doing and why we're doing things. We also share events and make events. So there was an event on Facebook for this class right here. And so we talked about this a lot and we promoted it, and then we spread it on all of our social media so that people can hear about it. Now, what about if you're coming at this from a for-profit product stance? So, Jasmine, you want to talk about your posts?
Yes, and you may have to actually go down some, because the first few posts are actually going to be about this marketing class that we have today. So I wanted to make sure that people came out. So just keep going down.
But that's still important, though, because you're linking yourself to another program, and then you have similar interests, so followers who see both might be interested in yours or interested in ours.
So that's true. So if you can actually, I guess, create that collaboration with different organizations or something that may already have an existing platform, it's important to take advantage of that. So to create that, like I said, so if you know someone else that has more followers than you, then maybe you all can do some type of trade-off. Or if you're an affiliate of something that has more followers, try to take advantage of that when building your own personal brand, whether that's a nonprofit or a for-profit. But then also speaking to, like you said, taking advantage of opportunities. So different things like when going to Essence Fest. I know that that's a popular place where people like to shop and do things, and lots of people go there. So in going to Essence Fest, I made sure that I was posting different places that I was. That way, not only creating that personal relationship with my customers and my clients, but also for those that don't know anything about me that are actually just looking at things about Essence Fest, they're able to see my company as well. So that's very, important to me.
Right. And two specific things that she posts about besides her product, which are very important. One is she posts satisfied customers, right? So this is really important for potential new customers to see, because what's the first thing you do whenever you're ordering something online or you're thinking about buying something? You look at the reviews, right? You're trying to see if the other customers who bought from this person actually enjoyed this product and thought it was worth it. So she posts about satisfied customers so that people see that. The other thing, so this is, so can you explain what you're doing here, Jasmine?
So in this particular video, I try to also, like I said, in creating that relationship with my customers, I try to provide motivation, try to be inspiring, and different things like that. So this particular post is just about going and wake up and get whatever it is that you want, but just make sure you identify what it is. And then you also see that I also have included hashtags on that. So anyone that's looking for, let's say, motivation that morning, and they may go hashtag motivation, they'll come to my post. Same thing, I make sure I include Dallas. Grit and grind is a popular hashtag in Memphis, so which is where I'm from, because that's what we use for the Grizzlies. So I try to take advantage of things that I know other people will look at, even if they're not looking specifically for glamour architect. And like I said, in creating a relationship, you want to be personable and do things like that provide motivation, be inspiring, but try to tie it also back to, glamour architect. So like I said, with it being a beauty brand, a part of that is health. So that's why, I'll try to make sure you're working out, make sure you're working on yourself, make sure you're bettering yourself, not just your outer appearance, but your inner appearance as well.
That's perfect, yeah. I think the main thing that was really, really important there was that she's jumping on popular trends that have something to do with what her brand is, even if it's not super tangible. So what you talked about was like inner health, this beauty, inner beauty, which is tied to your brand and allows you to jump on these really big trending topics like motivation, grit and grind, things like that, so you can get your audience aware of what you're doing. And then the other thing was that you make yourself very personable to these people. It's I'm not just looking at a hair extensions company anymore. I'm looking at someone who's just like me, who likes to go running every now and again and likes to sell products too, and is trying to make a living. So it's more likely that they'll purchase from you because they have a relationship here.
And also going back to, it keeps you from having to be redundant. So trying to find constant things to post. From what I've noticed from personal experience, and this is from looking at some of my competitors, they typically post about 4 to 5 times a day, which sometimes I can do, sometimes I can't, because it's hard, especially if you're like myself, have another job. So trying to create engaging content and finding engaging content can sometimes be complicated and hard. So the easiest thing to do is just post your product. But again, that's boring and it's not engaging, and people won't typically watch it or see it. So trying to take advantage of different opportunities. While let's say you can be in the car and one of your favorite songs come on, you can take a video of yourself while singing that song or something like that, and just try to relate it back to whatever it is that you're selling or whatever your mission is. So it's just trying, or you can be driving, maybe you could see something on the side of the road and it may remind you of your company. But just you have to constantly find creative ways to try to engage your customers and your clients, regardless if it's a for-profit or non-profit.
Exactly. Great. So how do you know if your posts are doing well? This is the next big and really important part of social media, is that besides posting very engaging topics, you need to make sure that you're learning from each post. So what was successful, what was unsuccessful. And what's great is all these popular social media platforms have built-in analytical tools. So for Facebook pages specifically, they have one called Insights, Facebook Insights. So if you go to you log in and then you look at your own page because you're an administrator. At the top you'll see these tabs, and one of them is Insights. If you tap on this, then you get a very clear and thorough understanding of how each post is doing and how your page is doing overall in different metrics. So here you can see, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. So page views, number of times a page's profile has been viewed by logged in and logged out people. And this is in the last 7 days. So 61 new people have looked at our profile. We've reached 1,000 people, which means our page or one of our posts has come across their screen in the last 7 days at least once. So it happened to 1,000 people. Jasmine, you want to take over?
Yeah, so I'll just kind of stand up on this one here. So this page is very important, and it just looks like a whole lot of numbers and graphs that can be a tad bit overwhelming. And you can actually even adjust the dates. If you go up some a little bit, you can even adjust these dates, which is important as well, because let's say maybe you didn't have time this week to check it, then you can, or you really, you did something, let's say last month, an event or something, and you really want to see, okay, did that event bring in people? So you'll be able to go back and actually track to see, okay, this is what I was doing last month, these were my numbers, let me compare them to the numbers that I have for this week. That way you're actually able to see if whatever you introduced that was new, if it's actually working, if it's worthwhile to continue it, or maybe you should discontinue it, or maybe you need to change it or market it differently. And so then we're going to go down. All right, we're going to actually go to the next one. Let's go to this one first. Oh, no. This was it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm sorry. All right, so this here shows you, this is his 5 most recent posts, but it shows you all of your posts. And this is a very important tool. Reason being, so not only does it show you when you posted it and the time, which is important, and we'll kind of play with that time thing later when it comes to Instagram, but it shows you what you posted, what they would consider it, the type, the category. So let's say if it was a photo or if it was like a link, but then targeting, which is very important. Targeting shows you your demographic. So it shows you who you were actually reaching, which is very important if you want to boost the ad.
Right, and real quick off the targeting, Facebook is such a powerful tool because every single user on Facebook has to give up a lot of demographic information. Like what's your sex, what's your religion, what's your political view, like a lot of issues, a lot of different characteristics. Your age, your race, a lot of different things like that. So Facebook is able to target very specifically for different ads, and Jasmine will talk more about that.
And then you have reach. And again, reach doesn't necessarily mean that they actually went to your particular page and that they looked. It just means that it did come across their screen. But that plays back to what Phong was saying about the 7 times. So even if they're not necessarily just engaging with your page on that particular reach, it's still important that someone saw it. So it's important, again, the content that you put out, that you're constantly putting out your brand and your logo. That way, even if they just saw it and they didn't click it today, after that 7th time, it may intrigue someone to be like, let me finally see what they're saying, let me see what they're doing. So knowing this number is still very important. And then engagement shows you those that actually did click and actually did some maneuvering around on the actual page itself. So now these numbers are important because this lets me know how many people reached it. And from this number, the larger the number is, shows me that that shows that the content was good, or that the service that I'm providing or offering or that I'm advertising is something that my demographic is interested in. So that may be something that I want to actually boost. So, now we just posted this morning. But if I saw that my reach was 1 versus my reach on this one is 143, and again, that's when this comes into handy, because you want to also take into consideration the time that it has been posted. Because obviously, the longer it's been posted, the more opportunities people have had to see the actual post. But let's say if I posted these on the same day, and I see that this one got 143 and this one got 1. Well, obviously, I would want to boost the one that receives 143 versus the 1. If I didn't have this information, I wouldn't know which one to boost. I would possibly boost both of them, which is an expense at the company, or the nonprofit or the for-profit. That's an expense to you. So you want to make sure that whatever you're putting your money into, that it's going to actually turn, it's going to actually have some type of yield on investment for you. So I would obviously boost this particular post, because this is the one that's going to give me the most traction to either my event, my page, website, or whatever it is, product, or whatever it is that I'm trying to provide. From then we can go up. So these are posts that we've actually boosted. This is that same post that had the 143. As we can see, it reached 1,275 people. So that was a successful boost. That number down there, 143, is organic reaches. That means those are your followers, your friends, or if someone shared it in their friends. This here is where you're actually able to reach a larger demographic, and that goes to when we say the target demographic. You're able to put in certain key factors to actually reach who you're trying to reach. So you would say, I want to, with me having a hair friend, when I do my boosts, I'll say I want to reach women that are between the ages of 25, well, I think like 25 to 35, typically African American, because that's currently the only extensions that I carry. I want to make sure they are, I can pick the area or locations that they're in, but since I do e-commerce, I'll normally pick, international, I'll do worldwide when it comes to the reach on that. And so different things like that. So you're able to target that specific demographic, so that way you're reaching as many people as you can, but the people that you actually need to reach. Because you don't want this number to be extremely high, but it's still not turning or converting into any type of purchases or any type of clicks or buys. And then this here shows you how much you paid for the post. So we've paid $23 for this post, which is not very expensive, but you have to keep in mind, if you're doing this consistently and constantly multiple times a day, this can easily get up there. So you want to be conscious of it, even though it's not very expensive. You want to be very conscious of how much you are spending on the ads, and to make sure that you are actually getting some type of, you're actually getting actual clients or customers from those boosted ads, and that you're not just throwing away dollars.
Right. And this is one more reason why this page is so important, this insights page, because just for $23, we multiplied the number of people we reached by 10, which is a really good trade-off, I think. So constantly, main takeaway from this is you need to constantly think about how your posts are doing, and there are already built-in tools for each social media platform to look at that. And Jasmine already talked a lot about this, but I'll just mention with Facebook ads and boosts, they can be costly, but they are really good at reaching new users, especially targeted users. There are 3 different types of ads that you can have on Facebook. One that you direct directly to your Facebook page if you click on it. The ones that direct to your website that's off, not on Facebook, so that's another way to link you back there. And then another one is to promote either a Facebook event or a Facebook post, like what we were just talking about. We promoted this event right here, and it reached 1,000 people. And I already mentioned this before, but there are many targeting options for Facebook since there's so detailed in their demographics. So there's a high degree of targeting. You can go after location, interests, and email addresses, which are really important.
And then
Great.
Facebook marketing.
Right. So you want to talk about that?
And then just to touch on Facebook Market, which may or may not be included on your outlines there. But Facebook offers lots of different tools that allows you to keep everything in one space, which is very important to a small business, because time is extremely important, because typically you're in charge of not only promoting your products, but you're also in charge of customer service, you're in charge of getting the products together. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing your time effectively. Facebook Market is very similar to Craigslist, and many of you have seen it. The only difference is that it's actually on the Facebook app itself. And you can even, and I even use Facebook ads, and it's been very helpful. It allows you to reach lots of people that are looking specifically for your product. So you're able to, and it's very simple to use. You would just press sell something, and then you're able to create your post. And you just kind of tell them, so it's a vehicle, if it's a home for rent or item for sale, you'll just click it. You create the post. It allows you to add pictures, price points. So this is how you put your picture. It allows you to put location, the price, what you're selling, the category. So if hair stitches typically is like beauty and health. And then you're able to even include a description. So once you get past the page, you're able to include a description. And inside of that description, that's typically where I'll put my website. So that way all of my sales still go back to my website. So that goes back to how he said the website is very important because one, you want to make sure that it's user friendly. And then also it's important because that's where it actually happens, if that makes sense. So I can do all of this great marketing, but if I don't have that website, then how are the actual sales going to physically take place? How they're going to actually learn what it is that we do at this nonprofit or what services we're providing. So, and I can do all of this from Facebook. So it's great to have that all in one place.
Great.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, for like marketing your product on Facebook, you know, you have a lot of hackers and stuff like that, you know, and to earn people's trust to actually go to your website and purchase something. So what kind of pitch or, you know, what can be said in your description to, you know, on your website to where you can ensure people are, you know, coming to your website and purchasing something without thinking that it's you're gonna get ripped off or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. One, important is the content. So what you're actually putting up. So the physical picture itself. One should be one that you probably actually took. So sometimes it may not even be the most professional picture, but if I can tell that someone took this picture physically themselves, then I know that it's a real product. They didn't just take this from somebody else's website and post it. So that way I know that, oh, okay, this is an authentic person. This isn't somebody trying to set me up. So the picture itself is very important. And then inside of that bio, like I said, you can include your website. Make sure that your website looks very user-friendly and it looks real. I don't know the better word for that, but you can sometimes tell when some websites look like they're like a scam or something. So it's very important to make sure that your website looks very welcoming and authentic and real and genuine. And then also, you can sometimes link it to your Facebook page. And in doing that, people are able to go to your Facebook page and they're able to see the reviews, they're able to see that you sell other things, they're able to see that other people have purchased from you. So it creates some type of security there as well, which is very important. And then there's one more thing that I always do inside of and it allows them to message you. So making sure that you have great customer service is important because the people can, once you click on this, if I'm interested in this, I can send you a message. That message comes directly to me. And then from there, I'm able to answer them. And so just making sure that I'm like, hey, how you doing? How can I assist you? What you need help with? Just making sure letting them know that one, I'm a real person. So they're purchasing from a real person, but then also to create some type of, to give them a peace of mind. So make sure that I'm being nice and I'm friendly. Even if you're rushed, don't be too abrasive, don't be mean. Make sure that you're actually being very inviting to allow them to know that, okay, I can trust this person. But personally, for my safety purposes, that's why I do e-commerce and I don't actually meet with anyone. That way I tell them all sales have to go through the website. And you know, sometimes that does deter people from buying because they want to go ahead and buy it on hand. But since I don't have a brick and mortar location and I don't want to put myself in jeopardy, then I just tell them, you know, I hate that I couldn't help you this time, maybe next time, you know, please, you know, follow my page. That way if I have sales in the future, you can buy or you can maybe offer them some type of incentive, like a great discount for them purchasing one time from you online. That way to create that trust, and then if you know you have a good product, it'll keep them coming back.
I think the point that you mentioned that's really important as well is the bigger your presence and the more that you can tie it back. And on like Instagram or on Facebook, you see that this person has already made posts, they've already sold things. that builds up your credibility as well. Because it's a lot harder to fake things like that, especially if you're widespread and more dipped into different social media. Great. Yes, yes.
It was earlier when you were mentioning hashtags.
Right.
So hashtags actually bring people back to certain spots.
So there's an actual discussion we'll have about hashtags later on. But just briefly, hashtags basically tie different posts from different users together based on similar topics and interests. But we'll discuss that. Yeah. Okay. So that's mainly Facebook. That's the big whale. There's a huge active user base. The next one we're going to talk about is Instagram. So Instagram has a lot fewer active users than Facebook does, but it has the most engaged social media presence of any social media platform. And what do we mean by that? So if you just look, so these are the stats for the band Paramore. So on Facebook and Twitter, they have 3 million followers respectively on those. And on Instagram, they only have 300,000 followers. But if you look on an average post, they will have 10,000 likes on Facebook, 400 retweets on Twitter, and they'll have 50,000 likes on Instagram. So you can see that even though they have only 10% of the followers on Instagram, they had 5 times more interaction and engagement on Instagram than they do on Facebook, and 100 times more on Twitter. So Instagram is really, really important for this, especially, and the main reason for this is that on Instagram, you only see one post at a time whenever you're scrolling through your feed. Unlike Facebook, unlike Twitter, where you see ads, you see different promotions on the sides, you only see one thing at a time here. So people are much more engaged on Instagram. So Instagram is really great for products especially, but you can also use it for services as well. Let's see. So we'll just quickly go through the logistics of what an Instagram profile entails. So this is the Zan Wesley Homes Junior Community Outreach Center's Instagram. We just started this about 2-3 weeks ago. First thing you'll see is the only the picture that you can have that sticks with your profile is your profile picture right here. Unlike Twitter, unlike Facebook, where you have also a cover photo or a header, you only have a profile picture. So it's really important to make this your logo. You only have about 160 characters for your biography, which is your about section right here under your profile. So what a good thing, it's good to put your mission here, and it's good to put your website link here so that people can click on it and easily lead back to your homepage, like we said before. And then the big difference here that you want to make sure that you do is there's a business Instagram and then there's a personal Instagram. And unlike for Twitter or Facebook, where that's just a nominal thing, on Instagram it's actually it's a separate account completely. And what are the benefits of a business Instagram besides that it's free? It gives you 2 very important features. One of them is the ability to post ads and promote posts at a cost. And then the other one is free, and it's access to Instagram highlights. Once you're open. So this is on Jasmine's account, which she has a business profile.
Well, I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry, so I can show you.
So this is her profile, and you see at the top right, there are those 4 vertical lines on the top right of the corner. If
Does
she
everyone
taps
see him? Y'all know what he's talking about?
this thing right here. Yep. If she taps on that, that's the insights, and you can talk about this.
All right, so on these insights, it's very similar to Facebook. So we'll go through it briefly here. It's just the format is a little different. But they're showing me that the actions taken on your account from the 17th to the 23rd. So they're showing me each day how many profile visits I received. So it's telling me I got 31, and they're telling me, and this is important, this number is important when it comes to the days. Reason being so is because I know which days I need to post. So what days are my customers most active? So from this I saw as of last week, and you may just want to keep up and chart this information. So as of last week, it was, okay, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So if I chart this information, I'm able to determine, one, those just may be popular days that my customers go on, or it could be what I actually posted on those days. So I'm able to go back and look, what did I post on Wednesday? What did I post on Friday? What did I post on Sunday? Okay, people, and then I can look at the number of likes. People tend to like that type of post, so I need to do more content. I need to provide more content similar to that. Then, I'm sorry,
just because I'm looking at mine and I don't see the 4 bars that
Right.
show you the insight.
Exactly. So
she's on personal.
yes, so you still have a personal account, and the way that you switch over is very simple. You tap on, you tap right here on the settings, and then you scroll down, and there should be, since we're already a business, you won't see it, but you'll see right, is it here?
That switches you from personal
Right,
business.
so right here, it says switch, go down, there we go. Switch back to personal, but you can just switch to a business profile. And usually that'll make you link it to Facebook, a Facebook page, because Facebook owns Instagram. And it's great because if you already have a Facebook page, you can just link it to that. Right. And then as soon as you do that, you'll get access to
That bar and
The
that.
analytics.
the insights, exactly.
And it's really good being linked to your Facebook page. But the reason being so is when you post, it allows you to share it with your Facebook page. I'm pressing next and it's not working now.
Okay,
No.
it's just loading. Right,
And
here,
see right there, it says Facebook. You can actually connect it to your Twitter and your Tumblr. I automatically have mine set up to always share to my Facebook page. So that way it makes it easier. So all I do is post on Instagram and it automatically goes to my Facebook account. So I don't have to worry about, because like you said, you want to make sure you're posting on all of your social media accounts. This way I don't have to physically go in and repost on all these different media accounts. So that makes it a whole lot easier. And then also in doing that, but the only drawback to that is it doesn't go public. So when you share it, it won't share publicly. And some of you all may or may not know this. Public is how you're able to actually share that post. So when people, if you want other customers to share your post, it has to be public. If it's not public, if it's private, so let's say if you have a private page or if your page is private, then all of your posts will be private and you have to manually go in and turn it to a public post. So since I have a business, I make mine public, but even though it's a public account, it's still it'll still post it coming directly from Instagram, it'll still post privately, so it doesn't allow my customers to share it until I go on Facebook and change it. Which people try to actually do often, because I get comments all the time. They'll be like, make public, so that way I can go and so I can remember to go in there and change it so they can share it for me.
Right. Great, so now we'll talk about what you should post. So with a product page, like Jasmine's business, it's very simple. You post your product, and then you also post satisfied customers, just like you did on Facebook. So you can see all of the posts that she made here, she already made on Facebook as well. So you see she posts herself wearing her own product, she posts customers who are wearing those products, and she posts happy, satisfied customers, so that everyone can see this.
Videos.
Oh, and videos.
He has a beard.
Yes, there we go.
But it's to show how secure the wig is.
Right, so there we go. And then the same rules apply to this as it did to Facebook, which is don't post too redundantly or post the same thing like 50 times or something like that. Use Instagram Insights for your business profile so you can see what did well and what didn't. One thing we didn't get. So go to content at the top.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can see activity of your users. You can also see content. So here you see these two most recent posts. There's a number under each. There's 289 and 125. Those are the number of times those things have been viewed. Not liked, but viewed. And that post on the right, when did you post that one?
This morning.
She posted that this morning, and 125 people have seen it already. So this is really important that you can see what posts are successful, and then if you go to audience. Yeah, and here, this is, I think, the most important tab of Instagram Insights, because you can see the different demographics of the people who follow you and the people who like your post. So first you see top locations. So Jasmine's from Memphis, so a lot of her connections are there, and most of her followers are from Memphis. You can see age range by sex, so all men and women. 41% come from 25 to 34 age group, so she knows who her target demographic is. Gender, 76% are women, and then this is a really important one for your posting. Followers, when are they active? They're active between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Tuesdays, or on different days they're active during different times. So you don't want to post at 3 a.m. ever, because no one's going to see it, but you don't want to post too late on the weekend or something like that. So this is a really good chance for you to see when things will be popular.
Yeah, and so just to kind of, that's really important, because in the beginning when I first was posting, I posted when it was convenient for me, which wasn't helpful to my brand or my company. So once I was able to start utilizing these tools and see when are my customers actually online looking at my posts, then that definitely increased my visibility. So you really want to pay attention to what time you should actually be posting your content, because if you're posting it at 3 a.m., then the people that come on at 6 p.m. won't see it.
Right, and it can also actually be convenient for you as well. There are a bunch of apps that will let you schedule posts. So you can say on Tuesdays every week I want to post at 9 a.m. because I know people are on there. So I'll put a post, I'll line it up, schedule it, and then on Tuesday, even if I'm asleep, it'll post. So it can be very convenient, and you stay very...
Is that just on Instagram?
That's on everything.
That's on all of them. And
Exactly.
Facebook actually does it on the Facebook page.
Right.
So Facebook, you won't even have to get a separate app. Facebook allows you to schedule your posts months out in advance. So you can be like, hey, I'm going to be out of town this week. Let me go ahead and schedule my post. So that way you're still going to be, creating their revenue, or people will still be able to learn about your organization and your events, even though you're not here.
Exactly.
I
Yes.
have for Instagram, how long do the posts stay on there? Because on Facebook, it stays forever.
Instagram stays forever as well.
It stays forever as well, but like he was saying, when you scroll through the page, you can only see one thing at a time. You might want to take it back to Zans, because I don't know what my people are doing.
Yeah. So these posts stay here forever, but it shows Instagram has a new algorithm. But basically, what it does is it shows the most recent posts, but also the most popular posts. So they have a weird algorithm where they choose. But for all intents and purposes, it's the most recent post that you'll see. So these are the most recent posts that we see, and then in 6 months they'll still be there, but they'll be way down, scrolled all the way down there. Exactly. Great. So what do you want to do with an Instagram? You want to like other pages in your industry that are similar to you, because you can increase your base, you can share your followers, because these people already have similar interests with what you have. It shows other people what you like, and you figure out who your competition is and who your audience is. Another really important thing to do to increase engaging your audience is to offer giveaways. Jasmine, you want to talk about giveaways you've had? Or do you want to? You're going to show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might say it wrong.
Right. So giveaways are, you can just give away a product, but it's like a contest, right? To enter, you have to do a certain requirement. You'll say, to enter this lottery to get this hair extension 50% off, like my page, or share this post, or tell your friends about it, and post a picture of you with one of my products, things like that. So here, yeah?
So here's one right here. I said, who wants free hair? And so the contest rules: step 1, purchase a minimum of 3 bundles of hair from Glamour Architect before May 12th. Step 2, plot what you will do with the free hair. And step 3, chime in to see who the winner is on May 13th. So all the customers that purchased hair in between this date, which is May 4th, and May 12th, they were entered into a drawing. And from there, and then I selected someone, and so then on May 14th, I was late, but on May 14th, I said drum roll, and then the winner was at Miss Sean M. Congratulations, you are the winner of our Glamour basket.
Right. And this is really important, one, because the contest, one, it already engages the audience, and 2, it forces them to, in order to enter, they have to do something that helps your brand, which in this case was to buy 3 bundles. It could also be something as simple as just sharing their story or posting about it, which is already good, just increasing brand awareness. And then at the end, she established credibility by actually posting who won, so people know this isn't just some kind of scam where I had to buy something and no one wins.
And typically I'll normally, like he said, that's very important. Typically I'll normally, with me not being in Memphis, and this was a Memphis winner, and she could have sent me a picture, but she hasn't posted it. She hasn't put it in her head yet, because she actually has dreads. But anyway, outside of all of that, typically I will post whoever won the drawing. So I'll normally show me giving it to them, or show a picture of them wearing the actual hair. That way, like he said, people know that it's not a scam. Like, oh, I didn't just buy hair from this company and she didn't actually give away anything. So that's very important. And like he said, especially if you're a grassroots, nonprofit, or for-profit, telling people to share your page and then offering some type of product or service behind it is very beneficial, because it's how you actually get your followers up. So I can say, hey, if you share my page 5, which is what I did when I first started it. If you share my page 5 times, and make sure you at me in it, that's how I'm able to determine that you actually did it. And at means use my name, so Glamour Architect. So Make sure you add me inside of it, share my page 5 times. It automatically will enter you into a drawing to win. And then from there, their friends will be like, oh, I want to win that too. So they're going to follow my page and they're going to share it 5 times. Then someone else that sees it from their page will go, oh, I want to do this, so I'm going to share it 5 times. So it just creates that chain effect. So you're able to get your product or your message or your service out to several different people at completely free of charge, outside of whatever the product or the service is that you're providing, which typically you're getting, either it's free because it's something that you know, like a knowledge base or education, or it's going to be something that you probably received on wholesale or something, so it's not going to be that expensive. So it's cheaper for you to do that than to actually go and get a commercial or a billboard space or something like that.
Right, and even if it did cost you something, you're sharing, the prize is a product that you made. So at the very least, they're using something that you have, right? Which is already good for your brand as well. So great, that's a good way to do giveaways. Engage your audience with ask me anything, give me suggestions, things like that. Very personable. So that was with the product side, and I'll mention very quickly how we do it with the nonprofit side, which is a service. So what do people want to see from a service like this? They want to see that we're actually doing something useful and meaningful, and that we're not just sitting on donation money doing nothing, right? So what do? We post the same things that we do on Facebook, which is we talk about events that we've had. So this was last week when the St. Luke Community United Methodist Church came in to look at Frazier House. We posted videos and pictures of that. This was from one of our partners, Oasis Center, had a graduation for a class of theirs. So we posted pictures from that, so that people can see that we're doing something meaningful here and our services are actually being utilized, right? So we're establishing this relationship with our own followers. And like Jasmine said, everything we post here goes to our Facebook as well. So everyone can see it there, see it here, see it everywhere, and come back to our webpage. Right. So that was Instagram. And the main idea that you want to take from that is that its user base isn't as big, but it has a very engaged user base, which is really important, and very strong tool to put with Facebook as well. Great. So this one is Twitter. So first thing, Twitter also has a very large active user base, and this is where a lot of people will actually find new things. But the trade-off is it takes consistent and interesting posts to build it up. And I think this is a good pivot to explain, once again, that everything that we're giving you, the tools, you have to scale up to them. You can't just tonight just make all your social media and expect everything to happen for you at once. So right now, neither Jasmine nor the Zan Wesley Homes Community Outreach Center have a Twitter, because we think right now the trade-off isn't worth it. Because you need to post consistently, and we don't have enough resources to post consistently. But Twitter is also very important because you have such a wide user base, and there's also opportunities for Twitter analytics, so you can look at your posts, and also promoted ads. So I'll use Google's Twitter to go through and explain different logistical things. So with Twitter, you have a profile name, and you have a username, which are 2 different things. For Google, you have the same one. So your profile name is right here, the Google. You can change this to whatever you want. And then your username is your handle, which you can change, but this is typically how people will find you. For Google, it's the same for both. You have a profile photo, which is usually your logo, and then you have a header, which is something interesting that has something to do with your brand. So Google has, these are the main colors of Google, so they can put something very artsy, and you still know it's something to do with Google. They have Google Chrome back here, they have different things like that. You have a biography, which is also very short, like Instagram. But so here they just have news and updates from Google, because you know what Google is. But then you have location, which is important for your SEO, your search engine optimization, because people who are nearby will more likely see your events. You can link to your website, and this doesn't take up space like it does on Instagram. So on Instagram, your biography, if you put your website, it takes up space. But here it's a separate link completely. So businesses can have Twitter accounts too, just like Google. A lot of times we just think that personal accounts can have it. But businesses can. They increase your brand awareness. You can very easily provide customer service. This is where a lot of people will actually reach out, because Twitter is very easy to connect with large brands, famous celebrities, things like that. So if you have any customer service issues, you can reach out to your brand, someone else's brand, and they'll respond to you. And anytime you do that, it's public, right? So you can see a company fixing an issue very cordially, publicly online on Twitter. That looks really good for you. It's good public relations, PR. Website link, good. Okay. And the other thing, which is also possible on Instagram and also Facebook, is influencers. So can you talk about influencers?
Yeah, so just to speak to influencers, with me being a new brand or company that people may or may not recognize, I wanted to make sure that I took advantage of people that already had a large following base. So I found people that had large following base of my target demographic, which was like that 25 to 35-year-old women. And so what I would do is I would send them free hair, and then they would wear the hair, and then they would promote the hair for me. So that creates a lot of different advertising and publicity for me, and I'm able to take advantage of all of those followers that they've already created and generated. And from that, I'm able to start, and then those people will, in essence, come to my page and follow me, and then I don't have to always continuously keep giving out the free hair, because now they've become actual followers, and now it's trying to turn them into customers. Same thing with YouTube. Find someone that has lots of views on YouTube, that's very popular when it comes to the hair industry. Send them here, they can do a review. Then that way, when people go on YouTube and they can search, let's say, popular hair extensions, and they go to this one particular person who they already trust and have a relationship with, because they've seen their other videos, then they're able to see my product as well. So those are two great market strategies if you're starting out. So regardless of whatever it is that you sell, it could be pastries, it could be a certain drink. You can send those products to different people that already have a large following base, and take advantage of that. Because those people will then come back to your page and become new followers and potential new customers for you. I think that's all I have to
That's
say.
great. And then the only other thing we would want to talk about with Twitter would be, you also have Twitter Analytics, which is also built in and free, so you can see the same things that you see with Facebook and Instagram. And then also you have Twitter ads, and there are two types of Twitter ads. One of them promotes specific tweets that you've posted, and it targets them to specific demographics. And the other one promotes your account directly and tells people you should follow this account because it's aligned with your interests. Okay, so now we'll get to a quick discussion about what hashtags are. And basically what this addresses the principle that you want to consistently tie everything that you post together. So hashtags they group posts together based on identical hashtags. So I'll just look here. Okay, so hashtag, you have the pound symbol, and then you have a line of text, and that's considered a hashtag. If you click on it, then every single post on this platform on Instagram that has this somewhere on their post will be linked to it as well. So right here I have ZWHJCOC, and it's a hashtag. If I click on it, regardless of who posted it, if they put that hashtag in their post, it'll link it. So right here, you see the same hashtag right here. This isn't someone we didn't ask this person to post this, they posted this on their own, but they had a topic that's related to ours. So they put hashtag ZWHJCOC, you tap on it, and then it brings up all the posts that have to do with it. And why is this important? Because this is how you find people with common interests. So ZWHJCOC is a very specific hashtag, but if you think like Jasmine was talking about, she used a hashtag called motivation, right? Anyone can post about any hashtag, and motivation is a general enough topic that people will post about it from a big different audience. So one thing that you should always do is every single post that you post should have a hashtag that's for your specific company. So for us, every single one that we post here, we have the Zan Wesley Holmes Community Outreach Center, right? And then the other one, since we're at the Frazier House, we always have hashtag Frazier House in it. So if you tap on this, it'll bring up everything that has Frazier House in there. Even if you've never met these people before, if the post has the hashtag in it, it's the thread that links it all together. So if you do the same thing with hashtag motivation, hashtag dance, anything like that. And what's important about that is that on Twitter and on Instagram, there are always these top trending hashtags of the day. And that means those are the hashtags that are the most popular for that day. And if you join in on that, you've reached a very big and engaged audience that's interested in that specific topic. So if we're in service, if we see a hashtag community service hashtag that's trending or very popular, and we tag ourselves, we join in on the discussion, then anyone who's interested in that topic and taps on that hashtag will see our post among all the other posts, even if they've never heard of us before. So this is a really important thing, one, to just keep you organized because it ties all of your posts from your company together and everything related. but also allows you to have a chance to reach out to an audience that's really big and very, very interested and engaged. So there's no cost, there's no downside to using a hashtag, so use hashtags. If you see a lot on Instagram and a lot on Twitter, you'll just see people have captions that they'll just fill completely with hundreds of hashtags, because there's no reason not to. If it's related to you, you should just do it. It increases your audience.
And because I don't think there's a cap or a limit on hashtags that you can use, so you can use as many as you like. Sometimes what I've even done in the past is I have my hashtag saved in my notes section on my phone, so I can just copy and paste it and put it right in on, because it can be very time consuming,
Right.
and you want to try to use as many as you can. So that way, because you can increase that visibility. So to just save it in your phone or save it on your computers, and you can just copy and paste it in, will save you a lot of time, because you will see yourself using a lot of the same ones. But very popular ones for Instagram are like Instagood, Funny Memes, MCM, WCW. So you want to take advantage of the ones that are very popular. And then, like you said, you want to make sure you use ones that are tied to your link, but tied to your industry. But then me personally, I even use ones that are outside of my industry to take advantage of people that I know that may not ever, come across my page. So if I know something is going on extremely popular in pop history, let's just say like the Essence Fest or the Emmys or the Grammys, I'm going to, even though my picture may not be related to the Grammys, I'm still going to say hashtag Grammys, because that way everyone that's looking for images of the Grammys, they're going to see my post as well. And maybe they may not want hair extensions today, but if my content is engaging enough, they may actually click on it and then follow me, and then that could become a potential sale that day or maybe even in the future.
Right.
So that's something I think that's important to use as well.
One example of this is a month ago for Juneteenth, we had our Juneteenth Economic Forum, and that allowed us to use a very popular hashtag called Juneteenth. And you see this ties a lot of different posts. I don't remember at the top, 100,000 posts were tagged with this particular hashtag. So anyone who clicks on that hashtag will see, it's a very popular hashtag, they might see ours, right? So there's no reason not to use hashtags, and they're popular across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The only downside is that they're not cross-platform yet, so a hashtag on Facebook doesn't necessarily show up on Instagram with the same post. But still, if you're posting on all three, you'll see the same hashtag. Great, so that basically wraps up the main meat of our presentation, and we'll go through some quick general tips, just as a summary again. So the first thing is you want to connect all your platforms to one another, right? So your social media should all be connected to each other, but also connected back to your main homepage, which will be where you show off your product in the best way. You should use hashtags on everything and post everything on all your social media platforms. Always post consistently about relevant topics, but don't spam. You want to be personable, but not annoying. You should always try to highlight what makes you unique in this market so that people know why they should buy from you and not from anyone else or your competitors. And then I think this is one of the most important parts is analyze what works and what does not work. Popular times of days, things like that. Every single post that you do. Because the tools are there, the tools are free, and there's no reason that you shouldn't take advantage of them. Great, so that wraps up the main material that we have. And before we go into questions, we want to talk about a specific project assignment for next week's class. And there's some pretty good incentives for it. So first, the prizes for first place next week is 25% off of any product that Marvel Events and Marketing offer. So Miss Loretta Simon in the back there has generously offered. And they do weddings, they do events, they do printing, they do advertisements, basically marketing campaigns. Yeah, marketing
Websites, flyers,
right.
Anything that you need. And if you see any of the nifty, cool stuff that you see on our site,
Right.
Marvel has done this. So like our
Exactly.
website, how professional that looks, like they handle the Facebook. If you don't have time to, do your Facebook and you may need to hire someone to do that, they can do all of that for you.
And it's great because this directly follows exactly what we've been talking about. So this will help you get off the ground if you work at it. And then the other tool that we have, the other prize, is you get a financial consultation for 30 minutes with Frances Smith Dean over there. So she is a financial advisor, and she's great at everything. Literally everything. I can't think of anything she's not great at. If you've met her, you know. But you'll get a 30-minute consultation, financial consultation with her, which is also great for any budding businesses or anyone who needs help financially with their company. So what is the actual competition that we're doing for next week? Essentially, create a social media platform or improve on the ones you already have. So what does that mean? You choose, if you don't have one yet, I'd suggest making a Facebook, because that's probably the easiest one to do within 1 week. And then make 1 or 2 posts. So one post, it can be about who you are, what you're offering, things like that. And you should be able to explain why you chose that post. It's also on your handout, so you don't have to memorize this. But you should explain why you chose to post what you did, what you posted, why did you think this would be important. And then you should also share one of our posts or one of our videos so that so people know where did you get this information, and they hear about us, and we'll share kind of things like you. What did you learn? Right, so how are we going to judge this? The judgment criteria is based on 3 things: growth, effectiveness, and creativity/ingenuity. So growth would just be raw follower increase. And the way we'll track this is through Facebook analytics or Instagram analytics, Twitter analytics, things like that. And it's okay, I just want to make a note, it's okay if after a week you only get 1 or 2 followers, because if you're starting from scratch, that's probably going to be the rate that you're going to start with. It'll pick up in the future. The more people that hear about it, the more people who can share. So it's fine if you just get 1 or 2. Don't get discouraged about that. Effectiveness, we'll be looking at how your post and how your social media page addresses the 4 P's of marketing that we were talking about at the beginning. Did you use hashtags? Did you add a location to your posts? Did you include your website in your description or biography or your about section? So just very basic logistical things like that, which are very easy to do, so just make sure you do them. And then finally, ingenuity, creativity. Is your content interesting? If I were a random person just scrolling through my newsfeed and saw this ad, would I want to click on it? And that's more subjective, so go crazy with that. So what would we like to have next week? We would like to be able to have the same setup next week, and then I would just go on to whatever social media platform you have and then just present it exactly like we did with our own businesses today.
Is it very easy to do the mirror on the phone thing?
It is very easy.
Okay, so you can either know your login information, that way you'll be able to log in and then you'll be able to show us your content, or either have it accessible on your phone if you're like me and don't remember your passwords.
Try to remember your passwords.
Yes, try to remember your passwords. But then we can also mirror it from your phone to the computer. That way we can display your content. So next week's class will be more so about you.
Right.
And you'll be able to share what you've learned from our class with each other. And like I said, create some more networking opportunities. That way we can all see what you all service, what services you all provide, and what different products you all sell. And then maybe it may be something that I, myself, or someone else inside this classroom may be interested in. And then we can all share each other's stuff. That way we can have more eyes out there. Now, outside of that, so that's the end of that. So first, let me ask, are there any questions about that?
Francis?
Can they do hashtag ZWHJCOC Lunch
Yes.
and Learn?
Lunch and learn. Yeah, sure. So you can make any hashtag that you want. I would suggest doing hashtag ZWHJCOC as a separate one, and then hashtag lunch and learn as a separate one, because we already know that one of them is a hashtag that we're using consistently.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's a good idea though. Yeah. So just to tie everything together, because we all have similar interests, and so the more you help us, the more we can help you. That kind of thing. Build up our similar base.
And I think that made a great point. You can make your own hashtag.
Right.
So you don't have to use one that's already been created. You can come up with something completely off the wall, blue skies and blue bills, whatever. If you can use whatever hashtag you like. I just suggest using ones that are more specific to your company and ones that are popular. And you can tell which ones are popular, like he said, by that number that's going to be right next to the hashtag at the top. So like when you saw 42 posts, you want to try to go with the ones that have as many posts as possible, because that shows you that, hey, lots of people are posting about this, lots of people are looking at it, so it'll get a lot of eyes. Okay, but then outside of that.
Well, so yeah, exactly. So off that point, hashtags have 2 purposes. Just explicitly, I'll say it. One is to tie yourself to a bigger audience, like the ones with 100,000 followers on those hashtags, but also to tie all of your things together. So the reason we use hashtag Frazier House or hashtag ZWHJCOC is not because they're super popular, but because anyone who posts about this is very specifically related to us. Anyone who posts about it will also see what we've done, right? So the two things, one is popularity, and two, consistently thread your posts together, okay? Great, so that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please let us know. Before you have any questions.
Before you take off, you should have received an email from me earlier today, probably around 10 a.m. Let me know if you did not. It's an evaluation. We would really appreciate if you could go ahead and complete that before you leave today. If you do not have your phone or have something that has the capability to pull up that email, we do have a paper copy as well that I can get around to you to fill out. So just raise your hand if you don't see that email. Then that way I can go ahead and get you a paper copy, and we're just gonna call it your exit ticket.
And before I know you have questions. We want to thank our presenters first. I'm gonna let them do your questions. Thank you so much, Jasmine and Phong. Thank you for coming. I want to thank two of my board members who are here, Demetrius Sampson, who's the chair, and our vice chair, Bernice J. Washington. And see the lady at the back, Ms. Loretta Simon, when she is great. Marvel Marketing. We want to thank Loretta because Loretta helped us put all of this together. So thank you so much. All right, questions?
Did anyone have any questions, first and foremost?
No questions?
I guess we explained things so well.
Oh, okay.
I had one question.
Yes.
You indicated that items prepared most frequently are the ones you put most recently, right?
Mhm.
So either frequency or how recently.
Are you saying at the top of your
Right, okay.
So,
So my question
oh,
is,
okay.
if there's something bad, how do you get rid of it?
Oh, so you can always report those posts. If it's not your post, you can report other people's posts, and it'll be taken down.
Okay.
Right. So I'm trying to explain like how the newsfeed works, because I think like 2 years ago the way it worked was the most recent post is the one that you see first, just so you can stay updated. But most social media platforms have moved away from that. So now
I hate the new way.
right. It's a combination of what's most recent and also what's popular. So a bad post like that probably wouldn't show up just because it's not popular. Right? So they have an algorithm that no one really knows that decides like this is recent and it's popular, so it'll go first.
Does that work the same way for the search engine optimization?
That one's even more fluffy. Like I have no idea how the search engine optimization works. But with Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, we know that it's some combination of recency, I guess, and also popularity. But search engine optimization, I think, is just try to be consistent and using keywords, and that should help.
Loretta wants to say.
On the optimization, because I've done that before when I was in the Dallas School District.
Okay.
Is somebody actually has to sit and continue to put your information in, click on it, go to it, sit down and do it again. It's a lot of, they charge a lot for it because it's a lot of physical work. You have to physically go in and put San Wesley Homes. Click on it, go to it. San Wesley Homes, do it again.
The more you
The more hits it gets, the higher it'll go.
So if there's something positive, the more hits you get, the higher it go.
Correct.
If there's something negative, the more hits it gets,
Right,
the
but
higher it
it has got all those searches, and you just have to keep doing it, keep doing it, to get yours to go. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for taking time out to be with us today. We look forward to seeing you on next Tuesday when we deal with our competition phase.